Hey Gareth, nice to see you.
Thanks.
I feel like there's a regular start to your press conferences recently. So let's start with the injury updates. How's the squad looking? Are there going to be any more sorts of players coming back?
Well, apart from Kira, who's probably getting a few more minutes under her belt, no, I don't think the situation's changed since the last game. I think Vicky Lasada is progressing on. The rest of the guys are progressing on as well. You know, it's another few days more under their belt in terms of their rehab. But in terms of actual options, I think everything stays the same as the previous game.
Is there a fear then it could be more kind of, square pegs, circular holes kind of thing, sort of, players playing out of position again?
Well, potentially, but, we've had that this season previous. We even had it last season as well. So I think it's maybe not to this extent, but I think it's something that's not kind of alien to us. And we're looking to get experience on the pitch, characters on the pitch, and good players. And we have that. I think it's just a case of finding that kind of right formula. And we've shown some real good glimpses. We've created a lot of opportunities. We just seen a little bit of inconsistency in our taking those chances. So, I think it's a perfect game for us to come back to tomorrow, and one that the players are really looking forward to.
There are a lot of hands up, so I will keep this maybe onto my final question. Look, Gareth, that we all know where the club is in the league right now. We all know the struggles they've had. How much pressure is there on you personally going into this game?
I don't know. I mean, to be fair, I try to just focus on the job, focus on the training, work with the players, kind of keep that from them, if you like. I think it's important to remain, a positive outlook, and I really do. And it's not a front. I think there's fine margins between success and failure. And when you look at our games in isolation, when you look at the kind of detail and the content within them, we're not too far away. I saw a stat, even the Arsenal game in a 5-0 loss, which I never felt it was a 5-0 loss. Both teams had 16 shots on target. I think that tells you that there's fine margins between success and failure. And, at the moment we're feeling the sharp end of it. And this is where we find out who the characters are. But yeah, I'm carry on as usual, really positive. I know what these players are capable of achieving. I see it every day. Even with the players that we have missing, I still feel that we've been a little bit unfortunate in terms of some of the results that have gone against us. But this is why we love the game. It's not always kind of champagne football and winning the league by 3-4 clear points. It's difficult. It's always difficult, and it's a fight against all of the teams. A lot of teams are improving. We're suffering with our injury count, which we know, and we're really looking forward, obviously, to getting players back. But for the meantime, we go with what we have, and we keep fighting. And like I say, I think this is a great game for us. It's a perfect game for us.
Yeah, should be an absolute cracker. Good luck this weekend, Gareth.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anton. Jamie and Nancy, 2 questions. It's 3 p.m. and live on everything within the press conference, broadcast and written. Just another one, guys. We'll have broadcast quality footage of the press conference uploaded afterwards, alongside this as well. We'll go for Bradley Hayden from TalkSport, please.
Hi, Gareth.
Hi.
I know the last few weeks have been very difficult for yourself and the team. I just wanted to get an idea of what has the morale been like amongst the squad this week after the defeat to West Ham, and obviously the disappointing start to the season that it's been on the results front.
I think it's been pretty good, considering you'd expect it to be low and confidence a little bit low, but actually the players have been really good. The staff have supported them well. We've had good conversation about where we feel we can improve, but also not to disregard some of the good things that have happened as well. We understand the situation we're in. We're kind of realists in that respect. We've had quite a lot thrown at us, but I think in that respect the players have been really positive, really sharp in training, and that's all you can ask for.
Definitely. I mean, in terms of the amount of issues that you've experienced in the opening few weeks of the season and the lack of pre-season that you've had, has this been the toughest start to the season that you've ever experienced in your time as a coach?
Well, yeah, probably. I think you'd go a long way to find more situations on top of the ones we've already faced. But it is what it is. We can't do too much about it now. We just have to deal with it in the best way we can, and the best way we can is putting in a performance tomorrow, and then moving on to the next game. It's as simple as that. I think it's not irreparable. Our league situation doesn't look so good at the moment, but a few wins changes all of that.
Definitely, and I suppose no better way to get back on track this weekend than potentially a victory over your arch rivals. I mean, lastly from me, what are these games like to be involved with?
They're great games. It's going to be even more special with supporters back. I think last season we obviously missed that. But I think they're great games. They're games that the players look forward to. Both teams wanting to win, both teams being really competitive, and I think it's an exciting one for us to look forward to.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Gareth. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bradley. Pien Mullenstein from BBC Radio Manchester, please.
Hi, Gareth.
Hi.
Hiya. Just two for me, really. First of all, you said it's going to be the perfect game for your side. Just sort of explain what a win against United will do for the team.
Well, I think perfect game I mentioned is because it's one of those that coaches always say that they never have to kind of really get the players up for in a local derby. I think that's the first part of it. It'll be perfect for us if we put 3 points on the board, and I think that's what we're looking to achieve. I think it's a win in the derby. We did it last season here on our home turf. We were in control in the first half at Leigh Sports Village earlier in the season, and give credit to United. They fought back in the second period, and we didn't show our dominance that we had. So, you understand that these games are never won or lost in the first half. I think it's always a game where you've got to be at it from minute one all the way through to the final minute. So that's what makes these games a little bit more special.
And obviously playing more Manchester derbies in the Women's Super League, are you feeling that every time you come up against a team like Manchester United, there is that growing rivalry happening each time you play them?
Well, I think it's always there. I think it's always there. I think it's for a few years, obviously they weren't in the league, but I think it's something that you can't get away from. I think it's the same when Liverpool play Everton, and we always get these local derbies, and they're one that you want to win. They're one that you want to have positive results in, because I think it's if you don't get a positive result, you can't wait for the next game to come around in terms of playing them again. So I think it's really important that we impose our game on the opposition tomorrow, and that's what we're looking to do.
Great, thank you. Let everyone else have a question. Thank you.
Thanks, Pien. Can we go for Emma Sanders from BBC Sport, please?
Hi, Gareth. Nice to see you.
Hi, Emma.
Just kind of wanted to follow up a little bit what you were saying there about it being the perfect game. I just wondered, there's no playing down the impact that a win over your biggest rivals can have, and without meaning to kind of big the game up too much, how much of a springboard can it be in terms of building momentum and going on a winning run in the league if you were to get a win?
Well, yeah, of course, that's what we're looking to do. But to be honest, I don't think we can look beyond this game. I think it's putting all of our effort and endeavour into this one. And then, we have one more game in another competition before the international break. We come straight back, and then we're in other competition. So I think it's focusing on this one, really making sure we pay attention to the small details, and handle the game in the right manner as well. I think there's going to obviously be a lot of nerves, a lot of emotion around it as well, which is normal and natural in a derby. And I think it's us controlling that and making sure that we're in the game in the early clinches, and then look to impose ourselves on the opposition.
Yeah, when we spoke last week, I think it was, we spoke about Ruby Mace and kind of her development and how she's getting on. You said she was, starting to knock on the door in terms of a starting place. We've seen Jill Scott play at centre back, obviously when Ruby was ineligible to play in the cup. But yeah, can we perhaps see Ruby playing at centre back on the weekend?
Well, we'll see. She's certainly in contention, and she's been in contention for every game, Ruby. I think, it was unfortunate that we couldn't use her in the Leicester game, because she would have definitely played. And there's a potential opportunity to use her in the Continental Cup on Wednesday night. But we want to do right by Ruby. We want to make sure she has the right conditions to get her first appearance in. We have to look at the kind of magnitude of the game and make sure that it's right to put a young player in that situation. So, I've spoken to her. She's doing great. She's really settled in nicely. She's understanding what we do, what we try to achieve, and she's improving a lot. So I think, using Jill in that situation is obviously not Jill's favoured position or even better position. But I think she's brought a lot. She's brought a lot in terms of leadership. I think having Jill on the pitch makes a difference for us, certainly in these difficult moments. So, we'll check on that situation tomorrow.
Yeah, and sorry, I'll just squeeze another one in, if I may. But I just wanted to ask, obviously, about the serious situation that's been taking place in the NWSL, and obviously we've seen more sexual misconduct allegations over in Australia as well. So firstly, what was your thoughts on that, and how important is it that female players within the game, stand up and speak out when they do suffer abuse or, situations that make them feel uncomfortable?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been asked this previously, and my answer remains the same. I think any sport that you're in and any gender needs to feel really safe in what they do. I wasn't aware of the situation in Australia. I was aware of some of the reports on what's been happening in the NWSL. So it's not nice to see, and it's obviously horrific for these players to go through, any player to go through. So I think it's making sure that we get the relevant support to these players and make sure that we eradicate this out of the game as much as we need to, which is, it needs to be the focus point on everyone's mind, because this is the kind of stuff in the press that you don't want to read.
Thanks, Gareth. Good luck for the weekend.
Thanks, Emma.
Thanks, Emma. Guys, do you want to start raising your hands for the written section, and we'll kick off with Phil Medlicott from Press Association, please.
Just on the team news front, I think it was just 4 subs on the bench last time round. So does that mean potentially it could be a similar scenario again this time?
Potentially 4 or 5. You might be correct in that. I think when we've not been able to kind of really fill the bench so far this season due to the obvious reasons that we're aware of. So if we can. I think 5 subs is okay for us, because I think it gets an opportunity to get all of those players onto the pitch and to give yourself maximum options. So sometimes you use them, sometimes you don't. But again, I think we won't be too far away from that number.
I was just going to check. A name I saw was missing last time was Alana Kennedy. Is that an injury situation as well, or is there some other reason she was unavailable?
No, she was unavailable for the Leicester game due to being obviously cup tied and having played in that competition, similar to Ruby. But she was back available on Sunday, and she's available tomorrow as well.
Perfect. Thanks, Phil. Dan Pentland, please.
Thanks, Emma. Hey, Gareth. Hope you're well.
Hi, Dan.
Just wanted to speak about Caroline Weir, really. It seems as though she's got a bit of a affinity with the Manchester derby. Kind of how much of a kind of legacy, I suppose, has she built with her goal scoring in the derby so far, and how much of a big player can she be for you tomorrow?
Yeah, hopefully she can make the difference. I think Caroline has shown she's more than capable for us, over a number of games last season. I think we've been getting her into the right areas. She started the first game of the season really well, scoring over in Madrid, and has been involved in some of our successes in front of goal and assists. Always challenging her to get more goals. But I think her relationship on that left side with Lauren Hemp is one that's really grown over the last 12 months of me working in this role. So I think, if it's Caroline or if it's one of our other players that needs to step up and be the person to make the difference, then the more options we have, the better.
We kind of had a chat with her this season about goal scoring, because I think the last game she scored was Spurs away last season. It feels like she's maybe due a goal, and maybe due a good one at that.
Yeah, I think, she's been there. We've been challenging her on her positioning for a long time now. I think, the goal she scored against United at the Etihad a couple of seasons ago was those kind of one in a lifetime, maybe 2 if you're lucky. So I think, trying to get her into those positions that we did in the second half of last season, where she was scoring goals like she did against Tottenham. We know she's got the quality to to connect from the edge of the box, but I think it's getting her into those real end of the crosses where it matters, 6 yards out. And I think, to be fair, we saw real positive signs with that with Caroline last season, and something that we're always pushing her to do. And sometimes the ball arrives there, sometimes it doesn't. I think the most important thing is her trusting in that and going in those positions as much as possible.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Gareth, and best of luck for tomorrow. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. Tom Garrett from the Telegraph, please.
Hi, Gareth. Thanks very much for speaking to us. I wanted to ask about the gap that's going to come up after this game, because you won't have a league game for nearly a month, and I guess the next kind of big game will be the cup semi-final. So with that kind of break in mind, how much extra importance does that give to get a good result on the weekend, in the sense that, you know, if you win, you'll put smiles on faces for 4 weeks, and I guess if you don't get the result you want, then people will be dwelling on it maybe for a longer period than they would for a normal league fixture.
Yeah, I think you've answered it for me, Tom. I think it's normal, isn't it? It's, you know, we want to finish on a positive going into the international break. You know, we still have another game in another competition beforehand on Wednesday. But yeah, of course, you know, I think it's important for us. We don't play in the league again for quite a while after this game. So, you know, we're not looking too far ahead outside of this game. I think, you know, we need a positive result. We need to start putting some points on the board, which we've spoken about previously. And there's no better time than to start tomorrow.
And just on that break again, a few weeks ago on a press conference, I asked if you were looking to bring in any of the young academy players to help fill that bench that you mentioned earlier. It's sort of like only have 4 or 5 players. Does the fact you've got, I don't know, you said at the time that perhaps it wasn't fair to bring them straight into the first team environment, but no short notice. But with that 4 weeks now until that next league game, does that give you maybe a chance to bring in any of the younger members to come and give them that first team training set up ready for a game like that to help boost the bench?
Potentially, yeah, something that we'll look at. It's something that we'll have conversation with the academy to see if we can execute that. And yeah, by all means, it's not a problem if we can look at getting some of the players up with us. But again, I need to have those conversations. And like I said previously, we want to be fair to those players and make sure that the conditions are right for them to come up and be with us.
Okay. Thanks, Gareth. All the best.